Did you know that 80% of Disneyland is claimed to be haunted?
Welcome to Eerie, Enigma, where the night attracts spooky clips from TikTok, where the mystery acts, chilling tales of haunting, shadows dance inside. Join us as we explore the paranormal fright. In the stillness of the night, whispers call your name.
Subscribe, like, and share.
Tonight's story is about a theme park, a very popular one. This was posted by someone named Disney Security 5 years ago on the subreddit No Sleep. It is called I Work Security at Disney World. Well, I mean I did. Let's begin. I work in security at Disney World, the happiest place on earth. Typically, I wouldn't say where I work as obviously there are some pretty strict rules about things employees can put online, but I just don't think I can tell this properly without that context. And honestly, I think this may be it for me anyway with this job. I just can't see myself working here any longer now. I've been with the company for 23 years. The first 20 years I worked in the parks, nabbing shoplifters and rounding up people who were drinking too much for the heat. Occasionally there'd be a fight to break up, but usually people kept it pretty mild. The heat and walking was getting too much for me the last few years, so I asked to be transferred somewhere with the AC, and the company moved me to one of their resorts. While the working conditions were 110% better as far as climate and comfort go, the guests' issues were trickier. Many domestics. I guess the expensive and stress of vacation got to a lot of people, and I'd be called by neighboring rooms because some mom and dad were yelling at each other. I try to suggest they can take a nap or go do separate activities for a bit, and that would usually calm them down. But none of that is what I'm here for. I've got to get this out while I have time. 3 days ago, I got a call from management. Apparently a couple of days before that, housekeeping had went into a room that should have turned over that day. Turned over is when guests leave about 11 a.m. and the next guest checks in around 3 p.m. And all of the guests' items were still in the room. Housekeeping made a note of it and moved on. But during the next 2 days, when they entered the room, everything was still there and untouched. I went to check it out, and sure enough, there was an empty room full of luggage, clothes, snacks, some toys, and everything a family would need for a vacation. The manager had already looked up the previous reservation, and it was for a family: dad, mom, and 2 little kids. I tried to call the phone numbers they had given, but all I got was voicemail. We were a bit stumped, so I made the call that housekeeper could clean the room and take the family's personal items to be held until we got in contact with someone. I went digging into the reservation more. The family had arrived 5 days before housekeeping discovered all their stuff. I found that the family had paid a parking fee and their vehicle description was listed. A quick walk of the parking lots and I had easily located their vehicle, so that ruled out a car accident or them deciding to just leave all their stuff behind. Next, I saw that they had bought a dining plan. This is when a guest prepays for all their food. They're given a certain number of credits to use for meals. This family had only used 3 credits, and the last one was 2 days after they checked in. It appeared that the day they arrived, they got here late and probably just stayed on the resort. The next day, they used 2 credits at Epcot. The second park day, they used just 1 credit at Magic Kingdom, and it was at breakfast time. Now at Disney, we have something called magic bands. Magic bands are worn by the guests and act as a room key, park ticket, credit card, dining reservation payment, fast pass, aka a system used to bypass lines, and more. It took some work, but I was finally able to look up this family's fast pass history. The day they went to Magic Kingdom, they had breakfast at a restaurant in the park, rode a couple of rides, and then rode their last ride. It's a small world. Around 11 a.m., then nothing. Finally, it was time to bring in someone else on this. I called an old co-worker at Magic Kingdom and asked him to pull security footage for It's a Small World. At the time, they wrote it, and I made my way over there. When I got there, my friend was very confused, almost distraught looking. He showed me what he found. There's usually a camera in the direction of where rides load and unload. The footage showed them scanning their bands to use fast passes for the ride and boarding the ride. The footage from the exit of the ride just showed the other people in their car exiting. They weren't there. Of course we thought the worst. Maybe one of the kids had fallen out and mom and dad and the other kid got off in the middle of the ride to help and they all got injured or killed or stuck in machinery somewhere. So we shut down the ride, middle of the damn day, turned off that earworm music and turned up the lights. Me and my buddy walked that ride 3 times before we called in help. Eventually there was close to 10 cast members searching and we didn't find shit except for 3 cell phones and a hat. I was right stumped. I've kept digging the past couple of days and I'm not sure who to tell what I found next to. I've called the police and I suppose they're on their way, but the company has a way of covering up things like this and I decided I can't live with myself if I don't put out some type of warning. I kept digging in their reservation over the last couple of days and today I noticed they had purchased Memory Maker. There are photographers all over the parks and cameras in a lot of the rides, and with Memory Maker, the photos are all free. They automatically get added to a guest's Disney account where the system knows their picture has been taken, and the system always knows. Everyone's whereabouts are always known with the magic bands. Well, I opened up their Memory Maker photo album and I swear there's 732 pictures. The first 30 or so are pretty normal. Epcot, a few rides in front of the castle, but the rest are all in It's a Small World. The rides only take 1 picture per go-around, so it appears as though this family has ridden this ride over 700 times. The first picture was pretty normal, everyone looked happy. It was a busy day and a full car of guests. The next one is rough to look at. The car is empty except for this little family and they look so darn confused. The next 10 to 15 pictures I can see Dad getting angry, yelling. Mom is holding on to those kids like her life depends on it, and you can see the kids getting increasingly upset, crying. It goes on and on and on. After 50 or so, it looks like they're trying to get out. In one of the pictures, the dad is missing. In another, they're all gone. Maybe like they've bailed early in the ride and try to walk out, but in the very next one, they're all right back in that damn car. After around 450 or so, I only see the mom and the kids. It's just when I look closely, I can see the dad, maybe just his body now, slumped down in one of the other seats. Since about 675, there's just mom and 1 kid, another body in another seat. The mom and kid aren't moving anymore. I think them 2 are still alive, just damn near catatonic, looking straight ahead, pale. And y'all, I swear on my fucking life, the dolls are moving or something. In some of these pictures, I can tell they aren't where they should be. I even saw one with the doll in the car with this family. I can't look anymore, I'm going to lose my lunch. I closed the album. Its file size has increased since I closed it. God, are there new pictures being added? I see on security cameras that the local PD just arrived, so they'll take over soon. I wish I knew what the fuck is going on, but I also wish this damn thing never landed in my lap. I don't think I'll be able to update this. After I talk to the police, I think I'm gonna walk out of here and never come back. I just wanted to get this out there before Disney feeds the media some bullshit cover-up as to why a whole family vanished. They didn't vanish. I know where they are.
Did you know that 80% of Disneyland is claimed to be haunted? Well, according to cast members that were interviewed for a 2023 article in InsideTheMagic.com, they have claimed that 80% of Disneyland is haunted. And here is a list of the most haunted locations to date. So you want to grab your emotional support ghost for this one. So first up is Disney California Adventure. This is more like a haunted adventure for the cast members that have to venture through this place all the time. So according to a lot of the cast members, the locker room at Disney's California Adventure is one hell of a creepy place. And it even has a lot of the cast members stop storing their items within this locker room because of the activity. According to one cast member, they've claimed that they've seen shadowy figures in the corner of their eye. They have heard the slamming and opening of locker doors when no one is around them or no one is present in their area, and this strange feeling of being watched. But it's not just the locker room that has people spooked. It's the area that is the Buena Vista entrance of the California Adventure Park that has a lot of people, especially cast members, on edge because they claim that that entrance and the shops that surround it are also haunted by this apparition of this little girl. Cast members have claimed that she's between the ages of 7 and 8 and she's often seen wearing a white dress. And those who work in the shops near the Buena Vista entrance have claimed that the stock rooms are places where she likes to hang out. One cast member has claimed that they've heard her run and giggle, especially after closing hours, and they've also heard the slamming of doors opening and shutting in and around the stockroom area when no one should be there. Another cast member has claimed that an object in the stockroom had broke by itself itself. It's as if something or someone had pushed it off a shelf and had fallen to the floor and broke into a million pieces. The next location is Splash Mountain, soon to be Tiana's Bayou Adventure. So currently this ride is being updated and it's being transitioned into Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and construction workers are getting a little creeped out on the activity that has been occurring during this renovation. So according to a spouse of one of the construction workers, he's claimed that every time he puts tools down, they go missing. So this is a really good example of what is known as a port, where you'll put something down 1 second and then the next second it disappears, then another second it ends up on the opposite end of a room or in a different place in that area. Sometimes it even reappears after several days in the most unusual places. There's actually been a small explosion and a set of small fires that have occurred during this renovation. Another construction worker has claimed that while pulling wire out of a wall, it felt as though someone was pulling the wire on the opposite end of that wall. So in other words, be prepared for more spooky stories from cast members out of Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Next up, we have Toontown. Ooh, I've heard many stories about this. I've had friends who've worked in this area and they've claimed that there's a ghost of a little girl that wanders here, and I believe there is a death of a little child on this property in one of the rides that occurred, I think, a decade or two ago. But according to cast members, the basement of Toontown is actually quite haunted. Allegedly, according to one cast member, he believes that there's a demonic entity, this is allegedly, because he's heard some demonic voices coming out of that basement. Maybe they were left behind from the Who Framed Roger Rabbit ride. I actually love that ride. But other cast members have actually seen trash cans in this location move on their own. Others have seen reflections of figures in mirrors over their shoulder, and many cast members believe that this is quite possibly one of the most active areas in Disneyland, which runs neck and neck with this other location, the Haunted Mansion ride. Haunted in every sense of the word. Cast members have claimed that they've seen an apparition of a little boy. Even those who ride the ride have claimed that they've seen something in the corner of their eye in their buggy with them. But it's not just the ghost of the little boy that has them spooked, it's also the living, because there have been accounts of people who have dumped their loved ones' remains, their cremated remains, inside this ride, and other rides as well around the park, but most often it's this one right here. That's not bueno, let's not do that. Have you worked in Disneyland and do you have a ghost story? Let me know in the comments below, and stay haunted.
Could this be Walt Disney's ghost? In 2009, footage of a spooky figure walking on water in Disneyland surfaced all over the internet, and many people believe that this is the spirit of Walt Disney. So it was after hours when Disneyland was closed for the night, and security footage picked up what appeared to be a man walking through the park and even walking on water. Let me show you the footage that was captured so you can see it for yourself. I'm not gonna lie, this video gives me chills to this day. You can see the figure of the man right in here, and then you'll see him start to walk. He's walking right here. Crazy. Now, I personally believe that this is Walt Disney. He's just checking in, making sure everything is okay. He works so hard on his Disneyland parks. I would not be surprised if he was here in the afterlife, making sure that everything was how he wanted and how he envisioned. So this is amazing evidence, and I'm going to Disneyland soon, and I'm just hoping I run into his ghost.
I think the scariest story I've heard of Disneyland, I don't know if you guys have heard this, supposedly, if you're still there after closing time, the little puppets from It's a Small World, they start running around the park and they take kids.
Stop. I went inside.
Isn't it creepy?
Creepy.
You know, supposedly a worker hung himself in there?
What? I heard about that. It was a while back.
Yeah, it was a while
Why
back.
didn't y'all tell me this before? I was kind of
chill.
looking for the brown kids, and they only had one. And I was like, where are the Mexicans
Yeah,
at?
no
Because you know,
inclusivity.
they're going through the world, and they only got
yeah.
that one kid. I was like,
They should make a Peso Pluma.
oh, they should.
A Peso Pluma puppet in That's a Small
Doing
World.
his dance in there. Just hide him in there. With a little hair.
Today I'm going to be asking my haunted doll about Walt Disney conspiracies. So there's a conspiracy that Walt Disney was actually frozen after he died, or just his head was, and he remains frozen to this day to be unfrozen in the future. Many people believe that they titled the Disney movie Frozen because they were trying to cover up all the Google searches of Walt Disney being frozen and replace it with Walt Disney's Frozen. So I'm going to ask Lola about it, as well as what other spirits come through. Lola, is it true that Walt Disney's head is actually frozen? I just heard yes. Did they title the movie Frozen just to cover up everything about Walt Disney being frozen? Yes. Is Walt Disney frozen inside of Disneyland? No. Does Walt Disney haunt Disneyland?
Okay, so we know that the fairy tales Disney movies are based on are way darker than the movies. Like how in The Little Mermaid, Ariel has to stab the prince with a knife that her sisters bought her. But I bet you haven't heard of the Brothers Grimm story that was way too dark for Disney. It's actually not so much a fairy tale as it is just a straight up horror movie. And a reminder that if you have a dark curiosity, you'll love the podcast. So it's called The Juniper Tree, and it's from about 1812. And it starts that once there was a woman who was so desperate to have a baby, once she finally had one, she died of happiness. The boy's father eventually remarries, but he remarries a woman who already has a daughter. And the woman is afraid that the boy is going to take the attention away from her daughter. So one day the woman asks the boy to fetch an apple from a chest, and as he's doing so, she slams the lid down on his head, completely beheading him. And after this happens, she's freaking out. She doesn't want the dad to know what she did. So she ties a ribbon around the boy's neck and props him up. Then she proceeds to tell her daughter to go wake the boy up by pushing him. And the daughter does, but his head falls off when she does it, so now the daughter thinks it's her fault this is happening. And the mom tells the daughter, well, the only thing we can do is turn the boy into a stew. So they turn him into a stew and they serve him to the father that night. The daughter feels so bad that she goes into the back and she buries the bones under a juniper tree. And from where she buried the bones sprouts a bird who flies over and drops a millstone on the stepmother's head, crushing her to death. And then that's just the end of the story. That's how dark it is.
This is the chilling story behind Disney's most haunted hotel. The Contemporary may look like Disney's most modern and magical resort, but it hides a sinister past that few ever hear about. The hotel opened in the 1970s, and since then it's earned the reputation of Disney's suicide spot, with the most recent one taking place just days ago on October 14th. Disney has done its best to keep the deaths quiet, but in less than 50 years there have been at least 9 deaths here, 6 of which were suicides. No one knows for sure why so many tragedies have happened here, but some believe the hotel's architecture plays a role. The massive A-frame tower and open atrium lined with balconies create both breathtaking views and dangerous heights. Disney never publicly acknowledges these incidents, but longtime fans and cast members know the truth. Some say there's a strange heaviness that settles over the hotel late at night, almost like the building remembers. Guests repeatedly report seeing a shadowy figure in the elevators. And then there's room 413, rumored to be the center of it all, where lights flicker and doors rattle. So if you're staying at this hotel, good luck.
The ghost of Walt Disney is one of Disneyland's most famous legends. Centered around his apartment above the fire station on Main Street. During his lifetime, Walt would light a lamp in the window to signal his presence at the park. But after his death in 1966, strange occurrences began, with the lamp mysteriously turning on by itself. One notable incident involved a maid who witnessed the lamp reactivate right after she had turned it off while cleaning. This led to the decision to keep the lamp perpetually lit as a tribute to Walt's enduring presence. Beyond the lamp story, cast members recall hearing their names called when alone, seeing shadowy figures resembling Walt, and smelling cigar smoke in non-smoking areas. I was even sent a video from Adenia Marie, who claimed to have caught an orb on camera inside the fire station below Walt's apartment.
Just saw another orb.
What do you think about this video?
Right by the fire. Whoa.
Could this be connected to Walt? Have you ever encountered anything strange at Disneyland? If so, comment down below.
Did you know the Haunted Mansion is actually haunted? This is the story of the little boy they call Timmy, who haunts the Haunted Mansion ride. So the story goes, a grieving mother went to Disneyland with her son's ashes. He recently passed away, and she wanted to dump his ashes in the Haunted Mansion ride. It was his favorite ride when he was alive. So she asked cast members if she can do so, and of course they said no. But she got on the ride and spread his ashes anyway. Now there are so many stories about Timmy haunting the ride, not just from guests, but also from cast members. A guest claims he captured photographic evidence of the little boy peeking his head out of the doom buggy and looking back at him. He also said he didn't have his flash on and it was completely dark when he took this photo. Are you serious? Can you see this? This is absolutely chilling. He testifies there was no children within 20 people ahead of him in line, and that no children were exiting from the doom buggy in front of him when he was getting off the ride. He stated that this photo was authentic, period. Many guests have even said they've heard a little boy crying while they're on the ride, and they believe it's Timmy. You know at the end of the ride where you see yourself in the mirror and one of 3 ghosts appears in the mirror with you? Well, for some people they've seen a 4th ghost, a little boy in a red hoodie, who they say is Timmy. For more stories about Timmy from guests and cast members, make sure to follow me. There's so many more stories where that came from. I'll also have to do story times on the other ghosts who are said to haunt the ride. So stay tuned. So I'm here at the Small World ride in Disneyland on my solo trip. Now you guys have heard the stories of all the haunted activity that goes on with these dolls in the Small World. Now as a psychic medium, I'm going to go in this ride and see if I feel anything. There are so many rumors about this ride, like the dolls' hairs grow, like their hair just grows, and that they come alive at night. There's so many weird stories, and someone also said they saw a spirit running in the ride, running back and forth. So I'm going to go into the ride and see if I feel anything as a psychic medium. It would be even cooler if I could get on this ride at nighttime. Maybe I could see about doing that, but it's so packed here, so we'll see what we can do. Here we go. Let's see if the Small World might have any spirits here. It feels like the dolls are staring at you. These are so creepy. Not gonna lie, I'm getting something right now with this like clown doll. I'm feeling something. I swear to God, he turned his head and looked at me when I filmed him. I feel like he is like the leader and he's looking after all this. I don't know. It's just my feeling. I know it sounds weird. So I just got off. It's a Small World. And I'll tell you what I felt as a psychic medium. I felt one thing with one doll, and it was a heavy kind of mean energy, like he's almost protecting the ride or protecting something. Oh, look what's happening right now. They're about to come out. So that's the only thing I felt. There could have been more, but there's a lot of people, and sometimes it throws the energy off for me. But like I said, I felt something with one doll, and it didn't feel good, and I feel like he looked at me. What do you think? Do you think the ride is haunted?
Did you know that the Pirates of the Caribbean ride in Disneyland originally used human bones? Let's talk about it. In 1967, the Imagineers could not afford to create human bones, like fake ones, so they actually borrowed actual corpses from UCLA, and they put them in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. Also, these photos are not actually of human bones. At least we don't think so. There are rumors that they're real, but I don't believe they are. TikTok, please do not ban me. But it's a big reason why people think the Pirates of the Caribbean ride is haunted, because hello, there's like a whole bunch of corpses apparently still there. I don't personally believe that these are real, but you know, I wouldn't put anything past Disney. You know, they'll do anything to save a buck. And if they can just use stuff that they can get for free, why not? If this guy is real, they have him arching his back for all of eternity. That's gotta be painful. The people that are saying this, that there's actual bones still in there, they say that the absolute one that they think 100% is still real is the one that's above the captain's bed. So how are we feeling? Do you think that these are real bones of actual human beings or not? Comment down below and follow if you're into stuff like this.
Scary Disney Urban Legends, Part 1. So if you're a big Disney fan, then you would know that Disney has a secret underground tunnel system. Now, they mainly have this for the Disney workers so that they can get around the park secretly. Now, the tunnel system is huge, and it's pretty easy for people to get lost. Here comes the urban legend. Legend goes that a new hire for Disney got lost in the tunnel system. The other workers thought it would be funny to haze him, so they locked him in down there. And they turned off all the lights. Legend goes that he was wandering around in the dark for hours. The next morning when they found him, he had scratches all over his body and he was huddled in a corner. He was mumbling something about how he saw things down there. I don't know what he saw, but that is pretty creepy. Stick around for Part 2. Also, you can follow me on YouTube, link in bio.
This abandoned dark ride was completely submerged underwater for 10 years and left alone. Let's talk about it. Because if I have to be traumatized, so do you. Everything you're seeing in this video, by the way, was completely submerged. Yes, for 10 years. The 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea ride ran from 1971 to 1994. And it was a submarine ride. You would get in and you were completely submerged and you would look through these portholes and look at these horrors. Like the giant squid. This horrible octopus thing. And the worst is this absolutely massive serpent. Who I hate with a passion. He is my biggest op. The 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea closed in 1994 at Disney World, but the animatronics stayed abandoned underwater in complete darkness until the lagoon was drained in 2004. All were severely water damaged and unusable. They were completely under there. Oh my God. Like you could see the water line of it up there, where the water was completely up there for 10 years and all of these animatronics just rotted. This picture is the worst, but it's also my favorite because it scares me the worst. You can see the tracks, the two different giant squids on either side where the ride would go. This is I don't even want to look at it anymore. Squid shrouded in complete darkness. This is sick. I know it was completely abandoned during that time, so they didn't have the cleaners, but imagine being a cleaner that had to go in there with all of those abandoned animatronics. Oh my God. This photo of the serpent's tail, which the serpent's like 50 feet long, by the way. This is just disgusting. Close up of the tail. Why did I take this one? So no head. This is when it was operational. I'm going to show you a video right now of when it was operational. Let me know what you're thinking. And does this horrify you to think about? Because it freaks me out so bad. Could you imagine with the derailment if it had sunk in the water? Could you imagine this thing fully submerged and like you're swimming and you come across this? Oh my Lanta. Happy spooky month, y'all. Would you ever go on this riverboat ride that was in Disneyland Paris from 2003 to 2004 with this massive monstrosity in the water? What in the Silent Hill is this? This is it in the fog. And this is how big it is for scale. The riverboat behind it is called the Mark Twain, and that's also abandoned. But this ride was completely shut down in 2004 because of a derailment. Yeah, that's right. This giant thing derailed and went off onto land. Could you imagine how horrific that must have been for the people watching and also the people on the boat? Look at it with the boat chain that it's holding. It's like ferrying them across. It's kind of like the river Styx or something. I think it's supposed to be a play on that. It's so cool. But at the same time, I am absolutely horrified. This was the boat after it was abandoned. And to my knowledge, it's still sitting there, just in Disneyland Paris's like pond lake area, and is just completely broken down underneath that sheet. This picture freaks me out also. I don't know if I'm alone on that one. So how do we feel about the Phantom Cruise? Would you ever ride on it or look at it? Also, this part is abandoned somewhere in a warehouse in the dark. Just knowing that freaks me out. Welcome to Spooky Month. We're gonna have a lot of fun this month. Follow for more. This animatronic might not look scary, but just wait. This video I'm gonna show you soon is going to terrify you. This is the Ursula animatronic at California's Disneyland California Adventure? I don't know. I've never been. This animatronic has malfunctioned multiple times. I'm going to show you a couple malfunctions, a couple of videos, but the most horrific one is the one where she lost her head but kept singing. Here's a picture of it when she lost her head and her mouth was moving along with the words. I'm going to show you the video. You're going to hate this. But first, I'm going to show you a malfunction of when she just was hunched over the big cauldron and she was just blinking, like she was blinking for help. Very creepy, uncanny valley. Like this animatronic is asking for help. It's horrific. Now, this is what she's supposed to look like. You know, very animated, very Disney, cutesy. And this is when she got stuck, just hunched over, her eyes blinking. That's so gross. And here's the worst video of the animatronic's head no longer there. Enjoy.